Hello, I'm Paul Gaskell from the Wild Trout Trust, and I've been asked, not for the first time, to explain myself, or at least to explain the lot that I'm offering in this year's Wild Trout Trust auction. It's been kindly donated by the Waltonians, Sheffield Waltonians Angling Club. They've given us access to the iconic Derbyshire Derwent for a day. And the reason I say that it might be difficult for me to explain it is that it's really a massive part of the day is up to you. And what I mean by that, I mean, just by reaching out here, I can lay my hands on, let's say, a standard sort of Western wet fly nymphing rod. Equally, we've got regular dry fly rods as well that we could take out and then take a sort of a fairly, let's say, standard approach. Or we could get into some competition nymphing tactics. We've got a French leader sort of set up there. We could learn about using that kind of approach. The waters there are really suitable for that. Or alternatively, yeah, we can go standard, sort of floating line. Traditional upstream wet fly is an option as well. But we could even get crazier than that. I mean, we've got here an authentic, actually made in Valsesia in Italy. So it's a pesca a mosca alla valsesiana. So that's the traditional form of Italian fly fishing. We can have a play around with that. I do have here a Valsesiana rod as well that we can try out. Or segueing into other kind of related historic methods, there's a Japanese wholesale line there, which is a bit more difficult to see. It's a bit more drab. Obviously, there's a few different flies that go along with that approach as well. You can see that the rod rack in the background there is filled with Japanese tenkara rods, so there's an option there. And of course, as you'd expect, we've got the full sort of sets of simple Japanese wet flies that we can go with for that approach. Alternatively, again, just reaching out here, I can show you around my Western fly box with the nymphs, North Country wet flies, dry flies, all available there. So I'm really in your hands. And the Derbyshire Wye itself is a fantastic river. It gets a really good mayfly hatch. So that's potentially on the cards, depending on when we can organise our day. But alternatively, it's really suitable for a whole range of methods. So whether that's the kind of the competition nymphing sort of approaches, we can get into some check nymphing, short lining presentations for those. There is, of course, the prospecting or the stalking with dry fly on offer as well. There's the smaller, the kind of the micro nymphs, and maybe using, as I say, some of these fine and far off French leader European nymphing at longer range tactics. And again, as I mentioned, there's the classic North Country wet fly fishing that we could indulge ourselves with a bit as well. So there's lots and lots of choice for what could go on. We could even get down to the super micro nymph sort of sizes, these sort of size 20, maybe even smaller, if it's a hot day, and we can sort of explore some of that sort of technique as well. So a whole host of things we could get up to. This is Chris, actually on the setting, the beat that we will be on, and taken in 2016. We had a fantastic day. So essentially, it's 3 years since they've allowed me to do this and let me loose on this section of water. And each time I've been out on there, it's been brilliant, really productive, very varied, super interesting fishing. And here's Chris with one of the catch and release sort of memories from that day. There's not only trout there, we have grayling on offer as well. So depending on what sort of things you might want to sharpen up, there's plenty of options to explore that sort of stuff as well. I'm a big fan of the grayling myself. Some people may not realise I also do fish with rod and reel, not only the fixed line styles. So as I say, there's a real variety of potential ways we could take this day. We could just go and hang out and fish and talk a lot. It's entirely up to you. So if that sort of thing appeals to you, the way that you can shape that day, we can go and have whatever experience that you fancy. Then you could be like Chris, and maybe this could be you this year. I'd be delighted to take you out and to show you the ropes and have a fantastic day. So if you fancy this, then go ahead. It's lot number 234 that's live on eBay at the moment. Going for a song right now. So yeah, just jump in there, bid away, get on it, and I'll be delighted to welcome you to the River Derwent in Derbyshire.